Hello all. Welcome to this session. In this session, I am going to answer one of the Java interview questions. That is, what is the difference between array list and hash set in Java? Let me answer. So what is the difference between array list and hash set? I have to explain the differences. First, I'll go with the array list. Coming to the array list, coming to the array list, here we have a concept known as indexing concept. That means the first element added to the array list will be added at the index 0. The second element added to the array list will be added at the index 1. Third element added to the array list will be added at the index 2 and so on. Okay, array list belongs to the collections framework. It is a predefined class in collections framework. Similarly, HashSet is also another predefined class under the collections framework. But what is the difference between array list and HashSet? Array list has indexing, whereas HashSet don't have any indexing, no indexing concept. There's no indexing concept. So the elements that you add to the array list will be stored in the order in which you have added them to the array list. Okay, the order will be preserved. The order, okay, element, order, element, order is preserved. Preserved. That means the way or the order in which you have added the elements to the array list, the same order in which they will be stored in the memory of the array list. Okay, the same order will be maintained by the array list. The order in which you have added the elements to the array list, the same order they will be stored in the array list case. But coming to the hash set, it's not like that. Here, order is not preserved, hence it is random order. So though you add elements to the hash set in a particular order, but that may not be the order in which those elements will be stored in the hash set. The elements that are added to the hash set will be stored in a random order. Okay, it's not ascending, descending, it's a random order. Fine. And coming to the array list, here duplicate elements are allowed. Array list will accept the duplicate elements. Why? Because there is an indexing concept. So if you add, let's say, a duplicate, let's say number 9 or object 9 at the index 0, and at the index 1 also, if you add the same object 9, it will accept because the first 9 object is stored at the index 0, second 9 object is stored at the index 1. Since they have different indexes, duplicate elements or objects are allowed to be added to the array list without any problem. Okay. So here, coming to the hash set, here duplicate elements are ignored. Ignored means what? You will not get any error. Okay, when you try to add duplicate objects to the hash set, okay, it will not consider, guys. It will not consider. It will ignore the duplicate elements. It will ignore the duplicate elements, but it will not give you any compiler error, etc. But it will ignore the duplicate elements. That's what happens with the hash set. In array list, to add the elements, we have a method known as add. Okay, we have a method known as add, and you have to specify the object. Okay, that you want to add to the array list. In hash set also we have the same add method. This is not the difference though. Here we are the question here is the difference between array list and hash set, but this is similarity, guys. Okay. Unlike these three differences I covered so far, but add method is same, guys. Okay, when you are adding the elements to the array list, or when you are adding the elements to the hash set, they have the same add method, which is not a differentiator, but similarity, you can say. Okay. So next thing is here we have get method. Okay. Or else we can change this differentiator by, here we have add and get of index methods available. Okay. Get of index method available. But here only add method is available. Like this, we can differentiate still. Okay. Though similarity is there. Here only add and no get. Why no get? Only add method is there, and okay, only add method. Otherwise, we can simply say add method. Get method will not be there here. get of index, because there is no index concept here, get of index method will not be there in the HashSet, but array list will have the get of index method. Okay. Then what else we have? Coming to this, here we can use all the variety of loops like normal for loop, for each loop, and we can also use iterator kind of loops, etc. But here, since indexing concept is not there, okay, since indexing concept is not there, here we cannot use for loop. Okay, only for each loop and iterator we can use, but we cannot use normal for loop. For loop works with the indexing concept only. Okay, whenever you iterate an array or array list, right? Because of indexing concept, you can use a normal for loop for int I is equal to 0, I less than, like that we can use. But here indexing concept is not there. Hence, we cannot use normal for loop for iterating the elements of the hash set. Instead, we can only use for each loop or iterator, guys. Okay. So that is another difference. These are all the differences, guys. So far, I explained or given you total 5 differences. Okay. And if you still want, more differences and all, the parent of this array list is list interface. Okay. But the parent of the hash set is list interface is the parent. Is parent. Okay. Whereas hash set parent is what? Set interface is the parent. Okay. Set interface is parent of hash set predefined class in collections. So both belong to the collections framework. The parent of the array list is list interface. The parent of the hash set is set interface. These are all the differences between the array list and hash set. Okay. These are all the differences between the array list and hash set. So what else we have? I think this much of, this much of the things will be enough whenever you get this kind of question in the interviews. You can specify this total six differences I gave, right? That six differences you can mention. Both ArrayList and HashSet belong to the collections framework. Under the collections framework, we have this predefined classes known as ArrayList and HashSet. While ArrayList has indexing concept, HashSet doesn't have indexing concept. So because of this indexing concept, lot of differentiators happens, like elements added, order is preserved. Here random order because of no indexing. Duplicate elements are allowed because of indexing. Here duplicate elements are ignored because there is no indexing concept and differentiator is not there. So HashSet will not give error, but it will ignore the duplicate elements. Here add and get of index methods are there, both the methods. Here only add method is there, get of index method is not there because indexing concept is not there. Here we can use all the three loops like for loop, for each loop or iterator loops. But here only we can use for each loop and iterator. We cannot use for loop because of no indexing concept in HashSet. And here we have the parent of the array list as list interface, but the parent of the HashSet is set interface. Fine. So simple words, if you don't want to store duplicate elements, then people will go with the HashSet, guys. Okay. Generally, why people choose HashSet? If they don't want to store duplicate values into the collections framework related class, then they will go with the HashSet. But if they are not worried about the duplicate elements and even duplicate elements are also allowed, then they go with the ArrayList. And if the order need to be preserved, they generally go with the ArrayList. If the order is, if it is okay that duplicate elements are okay, should be ignored. If it is a duplicate element should be ignored, they go with the HashSet. Whereas here, if the order of the elements in which they are added to the ArrayList should be preserved, in that they go with the ArrayList. Okay, this is how in real time we either go with the ArrayList or HashSet, guys. So fine. So these are all the differences, guys. Let me practically demonstrate all these differences for you now. So for that, I'll switch to the Eclipse IDE and create a new class. I'll just name this class as some random name, say class 17. I'll say class 17, guys. With main method, I'll create class 17 with main method. And here, first I'll go with array list, guys. I'll create an array list. I'll show you array list. A list is equal to new array list. Similarly, I'll create here. First, I'll import this array list from java.util package. Over the mouse on this and import this from java.util package. Warning messages will come because we have to specify the type of the objects that we would like to store into this array list. So I'll specify. Let's say I would like to store integer objects here. Okay. Then I like to also create hash set here. Okay. Parallelly, I would like to create hash set. Hash set the same way I'll create integer h set is equal to new hash set. Like that, I will create an object for the hash set. I'll import this hash set from java.util package. Okay. Now the thing here is here there is no indexing concept in hash set, whereas the indexing concept is in array list. For example, if you add some elements to the array list, a list dot add of, there's a method known as add method. So here, if I add 9 here, okay, if I add value 9 here, this will be stored at the index 0. A list dot add of again 9. This will also be stored at the index 0. Sorry, 1. Sorry, 1. Okay, the same duplicate value, duplicate object or element is stored at the index 1, second next index. Add of 5. This will be stored at the index 2. And if I say a list dot add of again 9, again duplicate element I'm trying to add, this will be stored at the index 3. A list dot add of again 9. This will be stored at the index 4. Okay. A list dot add of 0, let's say. This will be stored at the index 5. And a list dot add of 6. This will be stored at the index 6. Then a list dot add of, let's say 122. This will be stored at the index 7. A list dot add of 99. Okay. Index 8. A list dot add of 521. Okay. This will be stored at the index 9. Like that, some 10 elements I gave, guys. Okay. So you can see that there is an indexing concept here from 0 to 9 I gave. This element got stored at the index 0. So here, the thing here is with the array list is same thing. I'll copy paste here for the hash set. I'll copy paste the same, because in hash set also we have the same add method. We are going to add the same, but here indexing concept is not there. Okay. So I'll simply say hash set. The object reference of the hash set I'll take hash set dot add, hash set dot add, hash set dot add, hash set dot add. Okay. Hash set dot add, asset 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 dot add. Okay. Here there is no indexing concept, so I'm removing here. There is no such kind of indexing concept in assets. Okay. In array list, we have indexing concept. When you add the elements to this array list using a list object reference, using the same add method, the elements are stored according to the index. But here with the hash set, I told you, right, there is no indexing concept. These elements will not be stored according to the index. Okay. So that's the number 1 point. Here indexing concept is there, here no indexing concept. Okay. Here, whatever the order in which you have added the elements to this array list, the same order, the elements will be, whatever the order in which you have added the elements to this array list, right? In the same order, they will be stored in the array list. The order in which they added the elements to the array list, the same order they will be stored in the array list. So if I print it out, so when I run this code, you can see in the output that the order in which I have added the elements to this array list, in the same order, they will be stored in the array list. Okay. The order will be preserved in case of array list. You see, first element is 9. So it's 9 is there. Second element again 9. 9 is there. 5 is there. You see, order is preserved. The order in which I have added the elements to the array list, in the same order, they got stored into the array list. 99, 5, 99, 0, 6, then 122, 99, and 521. You see, order is preserved. But what about the hash set? Is the order preserved here? No, the order is not preserved. These elements are going to be stored in a random order. Okay, the order in which they have been added to the hash set will not be preserved. Rather, these elements in the hash set will be stored in a random order. So to prove that, I'll print out this hash set here. You'll understand. Run this code and observe that the elements will be stored in the hash set in a random order. You see, first 9 is there, but here 0 came. 99 is added at this position, but 99 is coming here. Then 5 is added at this. 5 is okay, maintaining fine. Okay. Sometimes it will match, but you see, there is no particular order, guys. It's not neither ascending or, you see, because you say 0, 99, then 5 is coming. It's not neither ascending or descending. It is a random order, guys. The elements will be stored in a random order inside the hash set. The order will not be preserved. So here, so for two things, two differences. Here indexing is there, here indexing is not there. Here element adding order is preserved in case of array list that I showed you just now. Here random order, the order in which they will be stored in the hash set, we don't know. It will be coming in some random order. It's neither ascending or descending also. Okay. Third thing is duplicate elements are allowed in array list. Okay. When you print out this array list here, array list, you see this is the array list, right? You see duplicate elements 9. How many times 9 got duplicated here? 4 times. Okay. Remaining all elements are not duplicate, but 9 is accepted here and is stored because because the first 9 is at the index 0, second 9 is at the index 1, okay, third 9 is at the index 3, and fourth 9 is at the index 4, because of which it is allowing you to add the duplicate elements to the array list. But coming to the hash set, duplicates are not allowed. They will be ignored. You will not get any compiler error, but out of 4 nines I am giving here, 9, 9, 9, 9, it only considered 1 9. Remaining 3 nines, it's ignored. It will not allow duplicate elements to be stored into the hash set, okay? So apart from storing the elements in random order, here duplicate elements will not be allowed. So that's another difference. And here I told you, right, in array list, we have add and get methods. Here you see, we have add method. Similarly, here also we have add method, but asset doesn't have get method. Array list has get method, okay? So for example, here, if I write something system.out.println, a list dot get off, if I give the index value 3, what is there at the index 3? 9 is there, okay? System.out.println, a list dot get off, let's say 8. What is there at the index 8? 99 is there. System.out.println, a list dot get off, let's say 2. What is there at the index 2? 5 is there. Okay, if I run this code, you see whatever the index I provided to this get method of this array list, get method is available, guys. Okay, with the help of index, it will retrieve the element object from the array list, and there's some error here. What is the error actually? Save this. I don't see this as an error. Sometimes it happens where just close and open the file, some temporary glitch maybe. Yeah, here some extra thing here. That's the reason it's not working. Fine. Now run this code. Get method is there, and you will see that 9, 99, 5 got printed. Okay. So at the index 3, what is there? At the index 3, 9 is there printed. At the index 8, what is there? 99 is there. So 99 got printed. At the index 2, what is there? 5 is there. So 5 got printed. So with the help of index, we can retrieve and print. So get of index method is there. But do we have the same get of index method in the hazard? Since indexing concept is not there, if you even try to do so, system.out.println, HSet dot get method is not there. You see, if I type G here, get of index method is not there. That's only there with the array list. But HashSet, it is not there. Then what else? Here we can use all the 3 loops like for loop, for each loop, iterator loop with the array list. But with the HashSet, only for each loop and iterator we can use for iterating. Normal for loop we cannot use because there is an indexing concept here. If I remove this instead of writing like this and all, okay, I'll remove the print statement also. I'll use a normal for loop with the array list case. Okay, for int I is equal to index 0. Here I'll give 0 as the index. Okay, I less than the size of the array list. I'll simply say a list dot size. Okay, this will get the size of the array list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I less than 10. So up to the index 9, that means I plus plus. And here I'll print it out something like this. System.out.println, system.out.println, a list dot get method we know, right? Get of index, get of I will say, instead of giving the value here, I'll say get of I. Now if I run the code, all the elements in the array list will be printed with this normal for loop. You see, 99, 599, 06, 122, 99, 521. Okay, all the elements got printed. Okay, so a normal for loop we can use. Can we use this normal for loop with the hash set for int I is equal to? I cannot use it because there is no indexing concept. Okay, since there is no indexing concept, I don't know this element is stored at, there's no indexing, so I cannot give 0 or something. Okay, so normal for loop I cannot use with the hash set. Okay, but with array list and hash set there is a common thing. Okay, though normal for loop can be used with array list but cannot be used with hash set, but for each remaining loops like for each loop and iterator can be used with both array list and hash set, guys. Okay, ArrayList and HashSet supports for each and iterator loops, but here only for each loop and iterator are supported. Normal for loop is not supported, which is supported by ArrayList. Okay. So how to use for each loop with ArrayList and HashSet? I'll show you just now. So here I'll remove this normal for loop, which can be only used with ArrayList but not with the HashSet. So I'll use a normal for loop. Here each and every element that is stored in this ArrayList is of integer type. So I'll simply say integer I colon a list. Okay, like this I can write and run this code. Write the print statement here, directly print I. For each and every element in this array list, it will iterate and print. Okay, array list has this many elements. First element, that is 9, will be assigned to I in the first iteration, and 9 object will be printed. Second element, again 9 will be assigned and 9 will be printed. Then third element 5 will be assigned to I and printed. Like that, it will keep on iterating till all the elements in this array list are completed. This is for each loop. And the best loop that you can choose for array list or any other collections classes is for each loop, guys. You should not be using normal for loop. Though ArrayList supports the for loop because of the indexing concept, but still, if there is a possibility of choosing between the normal for loop and for each loop, we generally go with the for each loop with ArrayList or HashSet. Okay. Run this and see that all the elements of the ArrayList will be printed. 9959906122299 all the elements got printed with the help of for each loop. The same for each loop. Okay. The same for each loop we can use with the HashSet also. There's no problem. Okay. So for each and every element in the HashSet is integer type. So I'll say for integer, okay, E colon HashSet like this, okay. And system.out.println, system.out.println. Here I'll print E, okay. I'll just write a separation statement here. Otherwise, you'll not understand what output came from array list printing and what output came from HashSet printing, okay. Now run the code and observe that here before this line, all the array list elements got printed. And after the line, HashSet elements got printed with the help of for each loop. Okay. So here, here we can use for each loop. Okay. But only the unique values are accepted here. Duplicate values are accepted here in the array list, but duplicate values are ignored here. Okay. Only this many elements you got. That's the reason. Fine. So you can also use iterator, guys. Instead of for each loop, you can also use iterator here. How to use iterator with array list and HashSet so this a list dot, I have to simply say a list dot iterator, put a semicolon. There's the iterator method which belongs to the array list class or its parent collection interface. Okay, since array list is child class of the collection interface, iterator method is inherited by the array list, and it will return you the iterator interface. Iterator itr is equal to, and here import this iterator from java.util package. Okay, and after that, warning message will come. You have to provide the same type of object integer here. The warning message will go off. Now you can write this while itr dot has next. This method you have to use of iterator interface method has next is there that you have to use. Okay, then simply print it out system.out.println itr dot next. This is the logic for iterator. We can use this iterator for looping purpose with array list. Okay, the same thing we can use with hash set also. Okay, here also I'll say itr2, I'll say itr1, I'll say, okay. itr1, here itr1 dot next, itr1 dot has next. Okay, here also I'll say itr2, I'll say. But here instead of array list, I'll use HashSet. Okay, you can use the same iterator method. You can call the same iterator method because HashSet is also a grandchild class of the collection interface, and it is also similar to ArrayList. It will also inherit this iterator method, and the return type of the iterator is iterator interface, and the iterator interface has two methods like as next and next. The same logic I have written, guys, and if I run the code, you will see that the same output, whatever the for each loop output you got, right, the same thing you will get it here. Okay, for both ArrayList and HashSet. But only the normal for loop cannot be used with the HashSet, guys. Okay, normal for loop can be used with ArrayList, but cannot be used with the HashSet. That's the difference. So here ArrayList has a parent interface known as list interface, whereas HashSet parent interface is set interface. It will be something like that. I'll show you in the diagram how it will be. Okay, there is something like collection interface. Okay, the hierarchy I'll show you. There will be something like collection interface. This is collection interface. Under the collection interface, we have this is an interface case, predefined interface under the collection framework. Under the collection interface, we have this list interface. Okay, we have list interface. That is the interface known as list. Okay, again we have something known as set interface. Okay, these are the two child interface of the collection interface, and the child of the list interface is array list class. Array list class is the child class of the list interface, whereas HashSet is the child class of the set interface. Okay, HashSet is a child class of the set interface. This is what is the diagram all about it. Okay. So you can clearly see that ArrayList is the child class of the list interface, whereas HashSet is the child class of the set interface. But ArrayList and HashSet, there is a common thing. They are the grandchildren of the collection interface. Okay, that is a common thing. But differentiator is the immediate parent interface is list interface for ArrayList. Immediate parent interface HashSet is a set interface. Okay. With this note, guys, I have completely explained and practically demonstrated all the differences between this ArrayList and HashSet in Java. So with practical demonstration, I answer this question for you. So that's all for this session. Thank you. Bye-bye.